I'm pleased today to have as our guest David O'Neill, Lexington's Property Valuation Administrator. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Harry. I appreciate being here.
We appreciate you being here, and I'd like for you to start this by telling us a little about yourself, your background, and your experience.
Okay, well, I've been in Lexington for 20 years. My entire career before I became PVA was in horse racing, believe it or not. I worked for the Jockey Club, which is the breed registrar for thoroughbred horses, and one of their subsidiaries, Equibase, which is the official database for horse racing. So I left there as senior operations manager. Mainly what I did was manage large amounts of data, quality controlling large amounts of data, and then developing products to use the data in many different formats. So the job I do as PVA is not a whole lot different than what I was doing at Equibase. We've got a fantastic database with a lot of information that people need and want, and it's my job to make sure that it's accurate.
A lot of data.
A lot of data.
Yeah. Well, I certainly understand that, and I'd like for you to explain to our viewers what PVA is, what it does, and the role of your office.
Okay, well, at its most basic form, it's my job to determine what the fair cash value of each piece of property in Fayette County is, and then that's the basis for what you pay in property taxes. So there's about 110,000 parcels of property in Fayette County, the vast majority of which are residential properties. The vast majority of those are single-family residences, are houses. But there's also commercial properties involved. There's also townhouses, condominiums, mobile homes. And so mostly what we do is we analyze the sales of property. When a house sells, we take a look at the property, why did it sell for that, and then we take that information and then we do mass assessing and we apply that knowledge across entire neighborhoods to arrive at what the fair cash value of a piece of property is. And fair cash value means what would it bring between a willing seller and a willing buyer if the property were exposed to the market for some period of time. And you know, we do a pretty good job. There's about 26 of us in the PVA office, but again, there's 110,000 parcels of property, so we can't know everything about every piece of property. So it's important that the taxpayers, that the homeowners, property owners believe that their assessment is fair and equitable. That's what we're shooting for. And if it's not, there's recourse. There's opportunities for them to come in and talk to us about that.
So, in fact, every real property in Lexington has a stated value.
It does.
And on that value is a real estate tax that is levied on that property based on that value.
Well, we have an ad valorem tax system in Kentucky, which means based on value, and property taxes is one of those on your home and on your car. So there are a few taxing districts involved in property taxes. The vast majority of our property tax dollars go to the schools, about 65% of it. The rest of it goes to the state, a little bit to the city, to the library, to Lextran, Soil and Conservation, and the health department. But by and large, the vast majority of the money goes to the schools.
I understand. So is any of this value based on square footage, the number of rooms, the neighborhood? Just what are the criteria for the value, David?
Well, all of that goes into it. So it's what we assess property in neighborhoods. So for example, when I'm reassessing a neighborhood, for example, one of the neighborhoods that you represent is Harrods Hill, and I reassessed Harrods Hill a couple of years ago. And when we did that, we only looked at sales in Harrods Hill or in the immediate surrounding areas of like properties. And so the factors that drive demand for property in Harrods Hills are what school districts it's in and what location, but all of that plays into sale prices. So the way we take sales and then apply it to your next door neighbor's house is through things like square footage, and does it have a similar number of bedrooms, and is there a basement, and is the basement finished, and that type of thing.
So more than anything, it's what a house would sell for rather than the square footage or anything, because that affects what it would sell for, obviously.
Exactly. What we're shooting for is we're trying to determine what a property would sell for if it was for sale, and then we use all the factors that you just mentioned in arriving at that. So that's why it's important that our data be accurate. So we've got a really good website in Fayette County, FayettePVA.com, and hopefully we'll get to that in a minute. But homeowners should familiarize themselves with their particular property on the website, make sure that information is correct, and if it's not, let us know.
Yeah, I wanted to mention the Harrods Hill situation because Harrods Hill was one of the neighborhoods that was revalued, and homeowners got a notice that their home had a new value, and actually, we had some people that weren't particularly happy with that. As a matter of fact, the value of my home went up, something like, I think 18%, something like that. And that's good, because that means my home is valued more, and if I wanted to sell it, then I could get more for it. But our taxes went up too. So to your credit, David, and I really appreciated that, because I was president of the neighborhood association, and you offered to come and talk to the neighbors. Some weren't particularly happy, as you know, but you did a great job in talking to them and explaining why it was like this. And I think you did a great job at that, and we really did appreciate it. Everybody was very appreciative of your efforts there. So anyway, that was a good move on your part, and we really did appreciate that. David, how often are the neighborhoods revalued? Is this a local law, a state law, just what?
Well, by statute, I'm required to physically inspect every parcel of property once every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
And that's typically when we do a reassessment. So we've got the county divided up into about 300 individual neighborhoods, PV8 neighborhoods, and we do these physical inspections once every 4 years. So we divide the county up into fours, and we do a fourth of them. We inspect about 25 or 30,000 houses a year.
Okay.
Now, typically, when we're in a good economy and property values are increasing steadily every year, then that's when we would do the reassessments.
Yeah.
When your property comes up on what we call the quadrennial plan, that's when we would do the reassessments. Now we're doing it a little bit different, and it's kind of what happened at Harrods Hill is my performance is measured by Frankfurt with what's called a ratio. So they look at what a property sells for and compares that sale price to the value I had on the house at the time it sold, and on average across the county I'm required to be within 90%. So we look at these ratios on an individual neighborhood basis, and when they start getting away from that 90%, that's when we really focus on them and decide whether or not we need to take an action, which is what happened at Harrods Hill.
That's right. And the value, actually, the houses in Harrods Hill were selling very well.
They were selling, and still are.
That's correct.
And you know, to the credit of the assessors in my office, the houses that have sold since we did that reassessment are still selling for north of their assessed value.
Right. Tell me exactly how you assess a house. I know it's not as easy as it might sound.
Well, again, we do mass assessing because we're authorized by law to come onto your property, take external measurements, look at the exterior condition of the house. But believe it or not, people don't let me in to look around very often. So we can't know everything about every piece of property, you know. And so we do make some assumptions, and we assume that a house is being maintained and is of a certain quality and of a certain standard. And if it's not, then it's really incumbent upon the taxpayer to let us know that there are other factors that we need to consider. So we do these drive-by inspections. We look at the house, we look at the condition, we compare the condition to what we think the standard is for that particular neighborhood, and then looking for deferred maintenance issues. We're also looking to see if the property's changed since the last time we were there. Has an addition been put on it? Has there been an obvious remodel, that type of thing? We receive copies of building permits from the city, and we do follow up on those, so that can cause a reassessment as well.
Okay. If someone feels that their home is incorrectly valued, what recourse do they have?
Okay, so there's a period of time set aside by statute every year at the beginning of May. It begins the first Monday in May and runs for 13 consecutive days, including Saturdays. We call this period open inspection. And that's when any property owner can come in and conference with my office if they believe their assessment is not fair or equitable.
I see.
And there's more information about that on the website, FayettePVA.com.
Let's talk about the website.
Okay.
Tell me what's on the website, and I kind of know the answer because I've been on the site a lot for a lot of reasons, but it's amazing to me how much information is on there, including maps and addresses and so much. Tell us a little bit about that website.
Well, there is a wealth of information on the website, and at the risk of sounding like we're bragging a little bit, it is a good website.
It is excellent.
And it's a good resource for the community. And so if you're not using the website, please do. It's FayettePVA.com, and you can look up every piece of property in the county. You can see a picture of it, see it on a map, see the sales history, the assessment history, what size lot it's on, the square footage of the building that's on it, see what taxing district it's in, what neighborhood it's in. There is a wealth of information, but it's also used a great deal by by the real estate industry and the
can
home
imagine,
builders
yeah.
and mortgage bankers and insurance agents. You can pull up a map and see what houses all around it sold for. There is a wealth of information.
See who
on
your
there.
neighbors are.
See who your neighbors are. You can be nosy with it too.
You sure can. Well, I understand that there is a homestead exemption for those people over 65, and I think reduces the tax value of your home somewhat at $34,000, something like that.
Right. So most jurisdictions have some form of a homestead exemption to help retirees stay in their homes if they choose to do so. And the way Kentucky's works is once you reach the age of the year that you reach the age of 65 or older, and it's either person, husband or wife, whoever gets there first,
All right.
that's when you get the homestead exemption, and it reduces the taxable assessment of your value this year by $34,000. So it's not an insignificant amount of money. You know, if you consider that we pay about 1% in property taxes, right now the homestead exemption is saving you close to $450 a year in taxes. So it's not insignificant.
Good.
So if you're turning 65 this year, go ahead and get the application, or turning 65 in 2014. Go ahead and get the application into us as soon as possible. You don't have to wait until your actual birthday. It's the year you turn 65. The sooner that we get it on the tax roll, the better, because it helps us get the tax roll nailed down. It makes sure that we don't have to go back and get refunds if for some reason you don't get it in until after tax bills go out. So go ahead and get it in early. And if for some reason you're over 65 and you're just now hearing about this for the first time, I can go back 2 years.
Can you really?
I can.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. David, any advice to our viewers about their relationship with the PVA, and how and when to make contact with your office? I know that people probably are a little hesitant to do that, but I know that this office is very easy to deal with. So any advice about that?
Well, I've heard that before, that people are hesitant maybe to contact us to take a look at their assessment because they don't want to maybe run the risk of us taking a look at it and then raising it, which we're not in the habit of doing. Right. But it's in everybody's best interest that the data be as accurate as possible. So there are two main times when we really hear from people, and that's when they get their tax bill in the mail. That reminds them to give us a call, and then during the open inspection period we talked about. So really, any time that you want to contact us if you have questions, or if you don't think the assessment is right, we can go ahead and log your property for our review process, because we're coming up now on doing the 2014 assessments.
Right.
And we assess property based on their condition on January 1st.
I was going to ask that.
So we're just a couple of weeks away from
doing it again.
From doing it again.
Yeah. Are there payment options that are open to our folks?
Well, we don't. The PVA office doesn't collect property taxes.
Right,
Those are conducted by the sheriff's office, and so I would defer to her office to answer those types of questions.
Okay.
And she has a good website as well.
Okay, good. Well, David, it's been wonderful talking to you, and we appreciate your time and all the work that you're doing with PVA. I think it's a wonderful service, and even though it deals with us paying taxes, it's done very well, and it's done very fairly. And we appreciate you being here and providing such good information for our homeowners.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.